right, John?
Yeah, that's going in the Wayback Machine. I have one in the Wayback Machine. I'm not sure you're going to get this one, but
A football one?
But not Michigan football.
Okay.
It is in the state of Michigan.
Oh, I know where exactly you're going. You're going with a brother of somebody you know really well, right?
Well, I'm going with the dad of somebody.
The dad. I thought it was his brother. Okay. Yeah,
No,
go ahead.
I don't think his brother was a 31.
Okay. You're talking about Jim Bradstatter's dad, right?
Yeah, Art Sr.
Yeah.
Turn left onto Vassar, then turn left onto Harvard Avenue.
Yeah, I know.
1936. Come on.
Okay. So
All-American.
So I have 5 names that I think should seriously be considered, and one won't make the list because most people never heard of him, but his stats are unbelievable. His credentials are really good. And that's Michigan State basketball player Mike Robinson in the 70s. 3 years, all Big Ten first team, all 3 years as before freshmen were allowed to play. Averaged over 20 points a game every year. He was a terrific player. Okay, he won't make it, but he should be mentioned. Here's my
in a quarter mile, turn right onto Pontiac Trail.
7 years with the Tigers, hit 278 here, 83 home runs. The home run in 87, the 1-0 Tenana game. He also caught the last out of the World Series.
I think, he gets a lot of credit for that last out.
Mm-hmm.
And people remember that home run in that game was huge. They won 1-0. I mean, huge.
From Michigan State University, a member of the 1978 NCAA basketball championship team, career averaging almost 17 points a game. Jay Vincent was a really, really good player. Got on, overshadowed a little bit by Magic and Kelser. Jay Vincent played in the NBA. He was a great player. Mm-hmm. Also from Michigan State University, Jim Thorpe Award winner Darquez Denard. He was a great player in college. The no-fly zone.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Pontiac Trail.
Definitely deserves to be on here. And the fourth one, maybe a little out of the box, but I don't think you could argue his credentials. He won the Sullivan Award as the best amateur athlete in the country. He was the Big Ten Male Athlete of the Year, Jim Abbott.
In 1.3 miles,
There's
turn
my
left
four.
onto
Jim
East 8
Abbott,
Mile Road.
Jay Vincent, Darquez Denard, and Larry Herndon. Anybody else that should be on that list that I missed?
No, I agree with all those, and I was. Your research is quality. I was curious if you were going to get Jim Abbott.
Well, thankfully, and not to take a shot at Michigan State, Michigan has a website, the Bentley Library, where you can go on the sports, and they have rosters and numbers of every single sport, every single guy, and it makes it easier as opposed to Michigan State, which, and sometimes we do. You give me credit for research. The directional schools we kind of sometimes pass over. I didn't do any Central Eastern Western research, which actually last week when we had Antonio Brown,
in 1 mile, turn left onto East 8 Mile
Road.
Road.
The last minute. And that was
I think we've caught the 2 biggies. It was Brown and Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
That we ended up including from the small schools.
Yeah.
We missed Boykins.
Yeah, we missed. No, we got him on. Somebody suggested him. We got Dan Marley still ahead, I think, and there's a few other. U of D, and Spencer Haywood's still ahead, and some of the other guys as well. So, yes, we did have David Busher, but he was Pistons and so go to our Twitter poll at Jamie and Stoney. The best 31: Larry Herndon, Darquez Denard, Jay Vincent, and Jim Abbott.
I'm a little bothered that Cujo isn't on this, but I can't omit any of those 4 for him.
Right, but you agree Cujo gets really he gets overlooked here. His stats are unbelievable from the 2 years he played here.
It wasn't the reason they lost in 2004. Look, 2003 was a disaster. They had a cup hangover. They had coming off the Hall of Fame team where you had 11 Hall of Famers or whatever, and they got swept by the Ducks who were red hot, and young new coach Mike Babcock.
Yeah.
So, in hindsight, you can accept 2003 for what it was, but 2004, they were playing really, really good, and they ran into a hot Calgary team, and they couldn't score.
Right, Kippersoft, right? Calgary.
But Cujo, that game they got eliminated in Calgary in the second round. It was game 6 up in Calgary, and it was 0-0 in double OT. I mean, what else can you ask for?
He was unbelievable in the playoffs. He really was. I mean, I think he gave up like one soft goal that really upset some people. But you know what? Here's his stats in the playoffs, Cujo. 2 years, 13 games for the Red Wings in the playoffs. Now, it's all about winning, which he didn't. He was 4-8. But his goals against average was, look at this, 164 with a save percentage of 931.
Yeah.
164.
You can't be better.
I mean, come on. He was incredible.
Well, and if you were going to make an argument
In
for
11 miles,
for that number
take a
5
slight
guy,
right turn to
it
merge
would've-
onto
you'd have to
I-96
say
East toward Detroit.
Cujo, just because of what he did. And I know it was only 2 years, but he takes so much heat, like you mentioned, for that 03 season, where it wasn't necessarily his fault. They couldn't win.
No, you're right. I mean, in that series, that series, he only played 4 games. He got 2.08 with a 917 save percent. I mean, come on. They couldn't score goals. Tom is absolutely right.
And
That's
don't
what it
forget,
was.
Iserman took the puck to the eye in Game 5 in 2004, which had a pretty big effect on the next game,
Yeah.
offensively. So he got a raw deal here, but you can't take those other guys off. Jim Abbott, sometimes just how remarkable
I know.
is what he did.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, he was really good in football, too, in high school, right?
He was, yeah. And I had a chance to interview him a couple of months ago when we were in the middle of COVID. And actually last week, I think, was the anniversary of his no-hitter with the New York Yankees. And I sent this on Twitter when I saw it, too. Like, every once in a while, and Stoney, I'd like to know who this is for you. Like, you have a chance to meet your heroes. He was, when I was growing up in high school, one of my heroes, just because of, he was from Michigan, he played at Michigan, his whole story, and then to get a chance to meet him. I've met some guys before that I thought, you know what, I couldn't wait to meet him, and then you're disappointed. Jim Abbott is everything you would ever expect or want him to be and more if he was your hero growing up.
I've interviewed him once before, but it was a phone interview. But I have a friend of mine who worked for the Sports Machine, and they did a lot of pieces on Jim Abbott over the years, and he just loves the guy, and he's just a genuine, nice human being. He's a great guy. I mean, a great guy.
I would love to see a 30 for 30 made on him, or even a movie.
Yeah.
It's a great story. It's unbelievable. If you don't know it, we're starting to age here. I mean, it's been 20 years plus, since this happened. It's unbelievable what he did to be able to pitch with one hand.
One hand.
I mean, you're supposed to wear a glove on one and throw with the other. It's like,
and he can get ground balls. I mean, it was incredible. And the fact that he was a quarterback in high school as well is pretty phenomenal as well. All right, so go to the Twitter poll at Jamie and Stoney and cast your vote. Your vote, 248-539-9797. That is the telephone number. That is the text number as well. Coming up next, what if the quarterbacks tonight played for the other team? That coming up as well. Hey, you want to get away, relax, have a great time? It's Las Vegas, baby. That's right. Las Vegas will be hopping social distance, of course, at the day where they're taking all the necessary precautions to make sure your stay is safe. You can enjoy all the comforts of a great high-end Las Vegas hotel without missing out on all the high gaming energy. And you want good food? Oh, they got it there. Joe Vaccaro is on the Amo Italian Steakhouse, voted the best steak in downtown Las Vegas. You feel like having Coney dog? They got that too. Curtis family, American Coney Island is right there. You want to golf when you're in Vegas? Let the folks know there. Banksy and boys, let them know. They'll hook you up with all the great tea times. And if you're not even staying there, go down. Hang out at the Long Bar. Their buddy Derek Stevens. Tell him that we sent you. He just might get you a socially distanced cocktail. That's right. They do everything right at the D. Book a room today. The D Las Vegas, your home for Detroit sports in Las Vegas.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Flake Heating and Cooling. In Ann Arbor, 94 westbound at US 23 still closed because of an earlier multi-car accident. The US 23 northbound ramp to westbound 94 is closed, and there's a backup from about Huron Street in Ypsilanti. Also in Waterford, N59 eastbound near Elizabeth Lake Road is still closed due to an accident investigation. I'm Michelle Penny with traffic.
97.1 The Ticket and CBS Sports Radio 1270. Your homes for the NFL on Westwood One. The Kansas City Chiefs host the Houston Texans. Thursday night football. Pregame at 7:30 on CBS Sports Radio 1270.
If award-winning mattresses to pillows, sheets, and duvets. Casper transforms the way we sleep, one snooze at a time. And with their Labor Day sale, you can experience the Casper comfort with a brand new mattress now featuring zone support. The original mattress provides the support and cooling that you need with the comfort you love. 4 layers of premium foam are designed to provide pressure relief for all-night comfort. Now with zone support, designed to be softer under the shoulders and firmer under hips to help align your spine. From bedding, bed frames, and even a dog bed, Casper has everything you need to build the bed of your dreams. And as always, free shipping and free returns. Get 10% off your entire order right now through September 14th with the code COMFORT10. Offer expires September 14th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time. Excludes the Element mattress bundles and sale items. Limit 1 offer per customer and order. Please see Casper.com/terms for additional terms and conditions.
I'm going to guide you through a relaxing talk about cold and flu season. Even though this year is stressful, you're going to feel calm. Because at Rite Aid, our pharmacists are educated in traditional medicine and alternative remedies. So you not only get a flu shot, you also learn how to support your immune system. And rest assured, you're doing your best to protect your health and wellness. Get your flu shot and boost your immune system at Rite Aid today. No cost with most insurance, no appointment needed.
Vaccines must apply. 5 state restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
It's time to think Ford first. Right now, current AZ Plan trade-in customers can lease a 2020 Ford Fusion SE for $149 a month for 24 months, with $2,049 due at signing. The Fusion comes standard with Ford Copilot 360, which includes features like rear-view camera, Bliss blind spot information system, and pre-collision assist with automatic energy braking. Payment includes waived security deposit, excludes title, taxes, and license fees. Not all SEs will qualify for Ford Credit Red Carpet Low Mileage Lease. The vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Payment includes RCL bonus cash, select inventory RCL cash, trade assist, renewal cash, and AXZD bonus cash. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by September 30th. See dealer for qualifications and complete details. Some exclusions may apply. So lease a 2020 Ford Fusion for $149 a month for 24 months. Only at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Mortgage rates are at an all-time low, and now is the time to refinance. Giving our clients 5-star service is our #1 priority. Call 248-308-5000 or chat with us online, davidhallmortgage.com.
What are you waiting for? It only takes an hour for you to have your child's heart screened. Get your kid's heart checked at the Ernst Cardiovascular Center at Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak. Details at 971theticket.com. Text the ticket using the same number you used to call the ticket. Ticket text 248-539-9797.
The NFL is back, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs, will host the Houston Texans, a team that they trailed, 24-0 in the playoffs last year, came back and won the football game. Now, both teams are quarterbacked by young guys who are from the same draft class, and the Chicago Bears had a chance to take either one of them, but decided to trade up and get Mitch Trubisky, which obviously was smart because they knew they had to play the Lions twice every year, and Mitch Trubisky owns the Lions. So, we make fun of the Bears, but maybe they were smart. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, a stupid move by the Bears. But I was thinking about this, Joe. And this is not a knock on anybody, just a curious football type of question. Andy Reid, more of a offensive guru. Bill O'Brien also used to be a quarterback coach, so Bill O'Brien's more an offensive guy as well than a defensive guy, but Andy Reid seems to have great success with, quarterbacks going, back to, Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick when he got to Philly after, getting out of jail. The way he runs his offense, would Mahomes be Mahomes under Bill O'Brien, and would Deshaun Watson, would Deshaun Watson be more dynamic than he already is in an Andy Reid offense? Because I think, because Bill O'Brien's more of a control guy,
Yeah.
to run the ball a little bit. Deshaun Watson does great stuff. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes could thrive as much under Bill O'Brien as he has under Andy Reid.
Well, you hit on one of the key points, and that is Andy Reid has had quarterbacks in his offense, like a Donovan McNabb, like a Mike Vick, where he's been able to learn about what they can do well and how to implement that in his offense. Then all of a sudden you get Patrick Mahomes, who is, both of those guys to another level because of his arm strength and his ability to see the field. Bill O'Brien, you can go back to his time with the Patriots. He is used to more traditional quarterbacks, more drop-back quarterbacks.
Even in college, the great Christian Hackenberg.
Right, yeah, when he was at Penn State.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And so he is more of, like you said, so that kind of sets up the argument, would Mahomes be the same quarterback if he had been drafted by Houston? And I think to a certain extent, yes, because when you are, it comes down to the level of intelligence and the way that these guys see the field. Now, it's nothing against Deshaun Watson, it's nothing against anybody else, but Patrick Mahomes sees the field and understands the NFL game much more differently than he saw the college game. We saw him do this in college when he was at Texas Tech, but we didn't see it to the same level because defenses are different, and in the NFL, guys are where they're supposed to be, so you can anticipate more. His level of anticipation, to me, would transcend offenses. Deshaun Watson, I think, would be the big beneficiary of going from Houston and being coached by Andy Reid and being utilized more for what we saw him at Clemson, a more mobile quarterback, a guy that can make some plays with his legs. So it's a very political answer. Patrick Mahomes would, I think, still be the same quarterback, but I think Deshaun Watson would have benefited greatly by being in Andy Reid's system.
I agree with you on the Watson thing. I think Mahomes, O'Brien, I don't know, maybe his personality it takes into consideration that. I think we're trying to rein Mahomes in a little bit.
Let's have some fun then. So last year's playoff game,
right?
Flip them. Who wins?
Well,
I don't even know if that's an answerable question. You might have stumped me.
So if Kansas City had Watson, would they have fallen behind?
Take a slight right turn to merge onto I-96 East toward
Houston
Detroit.
still been ahead 24. Who the hell knows? That's an interesting question. Would Watson have been able to come back with Kansas City like Mahomes did? I think the answer to that would be no.
Yeah, I think Watson could win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so do I.
With Andy Reid.
Yes.
I don't know if Mahomes could win one in Houston, but I wouldn't dismiss it because I think Patrick Mahomes has just an inch on Watson in terms of being special and having it.
Right.
I think Watson has it. I was a doubter of him until they won the national title at Clemson. But I think he has it. He just doesn't have the same it. I think Patrick Mahomes is this generational guy. Everybody wants to, make them the champs again and repeat. Look how they had a tough playoff run last year. And they fell down in that game, like you said, but the Super Bowl, man. That play he made, that's Michael Jordan stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say this: if you put Mahomes in Houston with that defense that's led by J.J. Watt, I think that's a game changer. I do think that he could win a Super Bowl there, especially, and I think DeAndre, what's his name, the wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, I think he's still there. And Mahomes has been a big beneficiary of all of the weapons that he's been surrounded with, but they don't necessarily, to me, the Kansas City defense doesn't strike fear into many teams.
No, but they played a lot better the last half of last season.
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. But if you look at, I think Houston's defense, that when they're healthy, when J.J. Watt's healthy, they can strike fear into a team. And then you pair that with a quarterback of the skill that Patrick Mahomes is, the question would be,
use the right two lanes to take a slight right turn to merge
Bill
onto
O'Brien's
I-96 East toward
personality
Detroit.
and Patrick Mahomes' personality be able to mix? Right. I think that's the bigger question. And it's not necessarily coaching style, it's just, would he let Patrick Mahomes be not that he's a loose cannon, but he's a more free spirit.
Right.
Would he be able to be that way and be himself?
Well, he's more of a free spirit on the field than he,
In 5.1 miles,
never heard about
take
Patrick
exit
Mahomes
28
going
onto
in,
Ann Arbor Road
getting
to
in trouble or anything like that. So I don't think there'd be conflict there.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean that he's more of a gunslinger. He's more of a gamer. That doesn't mean that he doesn't practice or care about practice, but he's a guy that shows up and all of a sudden, hey, he can just make something out of nothing. He's very creative, and I don't know how creative he'd be able to be in Bill O'Brien's office.
Would Travis Kelce be as good with Deshaun Watson as he is with Patrick?
Yes. And I think that would be a major reason why Deshaun Watson would be a better quarterback or a different quarterback than he is in Houston. To have that weapon as a tight end, that's unbelievable. And Doug, to your point, I think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire tonight, when you see him play, and I don't want to get off subject here, but you add another weapon around Patrick Mahomes that is not just a running back, but he's a guy that can be utilized in the pass game. Yeah, but the rich just keep getting richer in terms of offensive talent and explosive ability.
I loved him at LSU. I wanted the Lions to get him, but I just, when I talked about him earlier, he's going like 7th overall pick in fantasy draft. I'm like,
He's going to have big numbers.
I know he's
I
going to.
wouldn't trust a rookie, but he's going to have big numbers.
Yeah, we'll never know the answer to this. If the Chiefs would have taken him, and he was there, the Lions took Swift, the Lions would have taken him.
I do. Yeah.
I know they should have. That would have been the right
I do
pick.
think they would have taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire. To me, he was clearly the best back, the best option for an offense, especially like a Darrell Bevell offense, where you want your running backs to be able to catch the football.
Our telephone number 248-539-9797. Coming up after Tony's update. The Tigers got blown out, as you know, yesterday. John Jansen.
Stay in the right 3 lanes.
97.1.
WXYT FM and WSYT HD1 Detroit. A radio.com sports station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. From the Sold by YC Sports Desk. This is 97.1. The Ticket.
This update is powered by 24 Seconds Bar and Grill. Let's open with football as the 2020 NFL season officially begins tonight in Kansas City. As the Chiefs will take on the Houston Texans. That game kicks off at 8:20. Coverage can be heard on AM 1270. Meanwhile, in a recent interview with NFL Network Radio, new Lions running back Adrian Peterson admitted he wants to continue playing NFL football into his 40s, if that's possible.
Body feels good. I was down in Israel and I jumped into Jordan this off season as well. So replenish, my body and rejuvenate my body. So yeah, I'm thinking about 3, 4 more years, 5 years. We'll see how I go this season.
Peterson will make his Lions debut Sunday when they face the Chicago Bears. Ryan Braun and Luis Arias combined to drive in 8 runs yesterday as they propelled the Milwaukee Brewers to a 19-0 win over the Tigers. That loss combined with the New York Yankees 7-2 win over Toronto now leaves Detroit 2 games behind the Yankees, who chased the last playoff spot in the American League. As bad as things were at Comerica Park yesterday, it turned out to be even worse for the Miami Marlins, who got smoked by the Atlanta Braves Wednesday 29-9. Outfielder Adam Duvall hit 3 home runs and drove in 9 runs to lead Atlanta to the victory. Winners in the NBA playoffs last night, the Toronto Raptors and the LA Clippers. Over in the Stanley Cup playoffs, Tampa Bay doubles up on the New York Islanders 2-1. Game 2 of the NHL's Eastern Conference Finals. Lightning now lead in that best-of-7 series, 2 games to 9. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
Take the exit. In half a mile, turn left
97.1
onto
The
Ann Arbor
Ticket.
Road
Thank
east
you,
toward
T.O.
Livonia.
Coming up at 9:35, Mike Tirico, NBC Sports. 248-539-9797 telephone number and the ticket
At the
text.
light, use
By
the
the way, you
left 2
can
lanes to
vote
turn onto Ann Arbor
in our
Road east
poll,
toward
the
Livonia.
greatest number 31 in Detroit sports history. The folks that made the Final Four, Larry Herndon, Jay
Turn
Vincent,
left.
Darquez Denard, Jim Abbott. Sorry, fans of Darko. He did not make the cut.
In 1.2 miles,
With
turn right onto Ann Arbor Trail.
21,700 votes in. Jim Abbott, 53%. Larry Herndon, 23%. Darquez Denard, 16%. And Jay Vincent, 7%. So it's still early. Plenty of time to vote. Vote early. But don't vote often because you can't vote often unless you have two different counts. That's the beauty of this thing. You know, there are some of these polls that people come out with, you know, where you vote for like the All-Star, vote for like 25 times. What does that prove? If you can only vote once, that's one thing Twitter does right.
Do you think with this poll, the Sparties are killing each other? Chances, the whole canceling out, kind of like the whole when you have two Heisman candidates on the same team or something like that?
It's possible, and you know there was a chance because Mike Robinson, all Big Ten, 3 straight years in the mid-70s, he could have been on there. You could have had 3 Spartans. That would
Well, but quite honestly, I think that this goes back to who remembers Jay Vincent. We all just talked about how great he was, but he was covered up by some great players. Plus, it was back in the 70s. Darquez Denard is more frequent, and a lot of people remember him. They remember the no-fly zone.
Right. A lot of this is recency bias, and we understand that. Now, speaking of recent, yesterday the Tigers lose 19-0 to the Milwaukee Brewers. A major humiliation, you would say. So, 248-539-9797, just curious here. In your sports career, you know, whether it's high school, college, pro, whatever, not that many pro athletes are listening, but we have one with us right now. What's your greatest humiliation? Where your team just got the crap kicked out of you, and how did you handle it? John?
So I have 2, and I'll try and make them as brief as possible. One's individual and one's a team. I'll start with the team because that's what you're talking about in regards to the Tigers, and that was in '96 when we went to West Lafayette and Ross-Ade Stadium and lost to the Boilermakers, and we lost to them 9-3. We only scored 3 points against Purdue, and part of what made it so embarrassing wasn't necessarily, we had a chance to win it. We handed the ball off to Will Carr, and he fumbled it on the goal line. We didn't win. That was hard to take as is. Losing to Purdue, especially at that time, was hard to take as it was. But the night before, the meal at the hotel we were at was not up to what we would say a good standard. So Zach Adamy, who was my roommate, and I decided on our way in, we saw a Pizza Hut. And we thought, you know what? We're going to order a pizza and have it delivered to us. And everything's going to be fine. Nobody's going to know. And so we end up losing. And he and I both played decent, so it wasn't necessarily a results deal. But when we got back to Monday morning, when we got back to our meetings, Mike DeBoer, who's our offensive line coach, called us in and said, "Did you guys order a pizza?" And he was talking about, you better hope that Coach Carr never finds out about this, because we lost. You guys, you know, it wasn't necessarily because of you guys, but we lost as a team, and you guys broke the cardinal sin of ordering outside food, because you didn't do that, especially at that time. I'm not sure what they do now. But on the flip side, an individual one, I was playing with the Washington Redskins and playing against San Diego. Sean Merriman was their defensive end, and I was playing well against him, and he, instead of rushing, he dropped into pass protection. So I was going to come back in and help clean up the guard. Instead of coming back in, I stepped on my foot and fell down. There was no one around me. Nothing could have happened other than the fact that I was just out there for everybody to see. It ended up on Sports Center. It ended up on, I was a highlight of so many different sports shows at that time, simply because I stepped on my foot and I fell over like a tree falling in the woods.
What year was this?
That would have been, Sean, I can't remember what year it was with the Redskins. It would have been probably my 4th or 5th year, so around 2003, 2004. It was before they had the, the not top 10.
Right.
And so I didn't make the not top 10.
You would have been, come on, man.
Oh, yeah. And it was, they showed it on the Jumbotron, and we were at home, right? And they showed it on the Jumbotron at home because a buddy of mine was running the board, and he just thought it was hilarious. And so I had to look up and see myself stepping on my foot, and I literally was like a tree falling in the woods. I just fell like, I mean, I was stiff as a board, fell on my face, and there's no good way to make that happen, but I made it happen in as bad of a way as possible.
So John is so embarrassed by this still that he actually went away on the Zoom. He couldn't bear to look at us while he was telling us this.
I know.
Hey, when was that 5-0 Purdue game?
The 5-0, that was in 95. That was the year.
Oh, I was at that game. I left my house. It was like 65 degrees, and I dressed accordingly. By the time I got to Ann Arbor, it was like sleeting and like 23 degrees. It was ridiculous. I watched most of the game in Chrysler.
Turn left.
I
Then
think
turn left.
so I didn't realize you guys scored 8 points combined against Purdue in 2 straight years.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And the other thing, so that Purdue game, that I think it was
left.
actually 5-3 was the final of that game, which we ended up winning. It was at home, and we were standing on the sidelines. Back when it was grass, there was this. Part of the reason they went to the turf was simply because they had drainage
Turn
issues.
right onto Wayne
We were
Road.
standing
Then turn
in
right onto
6
Ann Arbor
inches
Trail.
of water. Big Johnny, our equipment manager, had brought out these bread bags, which I have no idea where he got them. But we were putting those over our socks
Turn right
and into
onto
our
Ann Arbor
shoes
Trail.
just to try and
Then
keep our
turn
feet
right.
warm. It did nothing for our shoes all weighed about 20
Arrived.
pounds apiece. But that was the most miserable weather game I ever played. And Stoney, you are 100% correct. It was sunny, it rained, it snowed, it was windy, it sleeted. It was everything that you would expect a fall football game in Michigan to be at some point in October. Plus, fun fact, that was the first game that Lloyd Carr was the official head coach at the University of Michigan. He was interim up until that, so we celebrated